In Starship Shuffle, there are two areas of the game. The first area is the production yard, and this is where the majority of the game takes place. Your goal is to build the Starship rocket as well as its super heavy booster, hopefully. Once the rockets are complete, the game then moves over to the second phase, the launch phase, which is in this section right here. This is the mission control area. In this area, you're going to move through different phases of launch all the way to hopefully landing. During this stage, you're going to see different development cards that you've played during the build phase that will hopefully help your rocket to land correctly. You can see the card with the Starship on the back. Those are your rocket cards. Those will be played into specific build zones in the production yard. On the build zones, you can see actual numbers that tell you how high of a rocket you can build there. The next type of card is in black with the gear. Those are the development cards. And development cards are played throughout the game to help you upgrade your Starship and Super Heavy Booster and the production process. You'll see 3 Star Hopper cards. Those are accident cards, and when you make a mistake building your rocket, those are flipped over. If you flip over all 3, the game is over. Over in Mission Control, you will see status cards. Whenever these are flipped over, that indicates that a hint has been given. You only have 6 hints during the entire game. Then you have the timeline as part of Mission Control, and there's an easy mode and a hard mode. So the red color is when you're launching both Starship and Super Heavy. That's more difficult. And if you want more easy game, you can flip it over into a suborbital launch where you're just launching Starship. And then in orange, these are the launch cards. These are used for the end of game scoring process to help you determine whether you've had a nominal launch process or whether you've undergone a rapid unscheduled disassembly.
Okay, so the game starts. Everybody is dealt 5 rocket cards. The Starship icon is going to be facing me. I can't see what my rocket cards are, only my teammates can see what my rocket cards are. So when the first player begins to go, I've got 4 options, which I can see in my reference card here. So option A is you can give a hint. Hey, I'm looking at your rocket hand, and I'm going to say you have 3 barrel cards in your hand.
So now you would flip over one of your status cards from green to red.
Second option, B, is to discard a rocket card from your hand, and that buys back more time. So I need more time. I'm going to discard a rocket card, and I'm going to flip one of my status cards from red back to green. So I've bought back more time.
The third option during your turn is to build a rocket card. You can do that directly from your hand. That's called building a rocket. And so you would place it. You might know what it is. You might not. You have to declare where you're playing it in the production field. So in the production yard, I'm going to play this card onto the mid bay. So I would look, it's in aft fin, and that fits just fine. If I played it incorrectly according to the blueprints, I would have to turn over one of the accident cards, which I don't have to because that connects correctly. Another way you can build a rocket card on your turn is to actually join 2 separate rocket stacks together. So here you can see in the pavement area, we have 2 barrels connected together, and you can now join these barrels onto the bottom portion of a Starship that's being built in the mid bay. And that matches the blueprints correctly, so you continue. This is a stack height of 3. And then the third way that you can play rocket cards on your turn is by moving a rocket from one build zone to another build zone. So here you can see 3 barrels. You can move that rocket, those rocket cards, into the high bay. Now you can build to a stack height of 5 and continue on the super heavy rocket.
Alright, so the last option for a player on their turn is that they can play a development card. Well, first, how do you get a development card? Well, say on my turn I joined, I've made a correct assembly of a rocket component on the rocket. Using that, I get to have a development card. I get to see this development card. It sits inside of my hand. So it's my next turn. It's come all the way around, and I'm just going to take a development card, and that's my turn.
There are 4 different types of development cards in the game. The first type, Build Upgrade, is played in front of the player, and they can use it as their action for their turn. The second type is the Instant Play. That is played immediately, and the action does not count as one of the normal actions. The third type are the Stacking Upgrades. These allow you to have a new build zone to build in or build to a higher stack height. And the fourth development card type is the Launch Upgrade. These are placed on the timeline according to the numbers shown and allow you to have a more successful launch. If there is a star, that means you can put it on any portion of the timeline, you can have up to 2 of these development cards on each section of the launch timeline. The build phase is over once either both Starship and the Super Heavy booster are completed, or you are out of rocket cards. Each player gets 1 more turn, and then we move over to the launch phase. At the start of the launch phase, you're going to take 3 red cards and 7 normal cards. You're going to shuffle them together. If you want to be successful in each portion of the launch phase, you have to be able to draw randomly a normal card. Now on the first stage, you can see we have 1 development card, so that allows us to shuffle in an additional normal card. So I'll take an extra one, shuffle it in. So now that I've added the 1 extra normal card for stage 1, we can go ahead and draw, and great, we drew normal, and we can continue on to the stage 2. Moving on to stage 2, we have 2 development cards. So for the first development card, you're going to add in, just like before, an extra normal card, so you shuffle that in, and the second one is going to allow you to have a second chance if you need it. The first card we get is a red, so fortunately there's a second development card, so it gives you an extra chance, so you can draw again. That gave us a normal, and now we can continue on to the third stage in the orbital timeline.
The game is over when either your rocket has exploded or you've successfully landed on stage 5. So have a look in the rulebook and you'll have a small blurb describing how you did. That completes the video on how to play Starship Shuffle. For more detailed explanation, have a look in the rulebook. Thanks a lot for watching.